Before we get into today's episode, I just want to say that I'm going to link every podcast and every YouTube video that I've listened about the whole G-Dub situation. So you can kind of get your own little insights about it because I just kind of summed it up. But everything will be linked in the description box on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. So make sure you check those out if you are interested. And yeah, if there's nothing else, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. What is going on, everybody? I am Nikki.
And I'm Darrell.
And welcome back to another episode of Picture That. Okay, so in today's episode, we are going to be discussing something that could be somewhat controversial, depending on the person and depending on your point of views and how you believe on certain things like that. Whoop-de-whoop whoop. We are going to be discussing, should a reformed murderer be released from prison? Now, I know people can kind of feel how they feel, but to be just strictly unbiased, and it's okay to have an opinion about the question because it could be a little kind of trigger for some people. Mm-hmm. But I guess depending on how you look at it and how you value things, I guess some people have a heart for certain people, whatever. Some people can change. Mm-hmm. You know, some people can learn from what took place or whatever. I believe in change. Some people strictly deserves to be just stay in there. And you got those who I feel like, okay, I don't think they're no longer a threat to society. So, before we get into it, I told Darrell that I was going to tell him the topic of the episode, but I was like, I don't want us to talk about it because I want all of our thoughts and I want everything to be strictly fresh. Because usually we talk about the episodes before we record or whatever, but I was like, no, like I want to actually hear what you have to say. And I'm really curious to hear what you got to say because it's been eating me because I really want to know. So, how would you like to start this episode? Do you want me to start and then you go? Or would you like to start it off and then I go? Or
I'm gonna say let's do it how we always do. You know, we can just pick off each other and see where our heads at.
Okay. Okay. So I'll let you do it because I'm really curious to see what you have to say. So. To you, Darrell, based on the question, do you think a reformed prisoner or murderer should be released from prison?
I'm gonna do like I always do. I'm gonna be stuck in the ground on this one.
Okay.
And because I feel like it's a yes and a no. Because I feel like it depends on the person and their actions and the changes that they tried to go through or did go through in there. So like. I'm going to say, like, Jeffrey Dahmer, no, he should never get out. But, like, the guy we read on who made this topic, G-Dub, he did his time, he got out, he was reformed, he felt guilty for what he did, he turned himself in. I feel like somebody like him should be let out and they should be free because, they went through it in their own way and they served their time. And I'm pretty sure he'll probably never do it again, even though it seemed like in his case, it was in self-defense. I think somebody like him should be free. But like a school shooter or somebody that was just a serial killer and stuff like that, I think they should stay where they're at.
Gotcha. I can understand that. I would say what you mentioning the G-Dub situation, and I'll break that down because that's actually where this topic even came from. So I'm going to mention that a little bit later on. But to piggyback off what you said, like him, because he was very remorseful, he was very emotional about it. He accepted like that. Hey, I did do this, and I do need to pay the consequences of my actions. So I understand like those who are like that, but I want to take it a little bit deeper. And the only reason why I say I want to take it a little bit deeper is because I somewhat believe that anybody can change, right? I feel like some people are just mentally not there, but I believe some people can change to where they can possibly be released, but like you said, to a certain extent, So, yes, I think some murderers should be released, like those who are, because no matter how you put it, a murder is a murder, no matter what the outcome was. Yeah. If it was self-defense, you murdered somebody, you're a murderer. Or if it was like, oh, somebody was like if you went out there and just killed somebody voluntarily, you're a murderer. No matter how you look at it, a murderer is a murderer, right? But I think those who were self-defense or any type of self-defense to where they're protecting themselves and they just happen to kill somebody, not intentional, but it just happened, should definitely not serve a life sentence. But at least, like, if they do something, like, you know, minimal sentences or whatever. But I do think they should be let back into the public, especially if it was not, if it wasn't their intention to kill this person, and they are, depending on the situation, some of them can be remorseful or whatever. Now I can understand a sexual assault victim, but I can understand of giving another person another chance at life, because if we can give those who are drug addicts another chance at life, or somebody else who, I don't know, who beat somebody up or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, like, we get them to take a chance at life, or robbers and, you know, stuff like that. I feel like it should be the same way with a reformed murderer who is in prison for certain, you know, for the crime that they committed. Because no matter how you look at a crime, it's a crime.
You're right, but I was gonna ask you, what do you feel like? Okay, let's say somebody murdered somebody in self-defense. What's the least amount of time you should think they'll have times the most? Like,
if they don't get off, I think if they are going to give them some type of jail time, I should feel like it should be no more than 2 to 5 years.
Okay.
And that's just me being reasonable. Like, if they're like, or I would even say 3 months to 5 years, anywhere between that, like, depending on the severity of the crime, because some stuff can also be overkill. Like, you could be self-defense, but you overdid it. Yeah, like if you would, like, like, you beat this man to where like, when it's time to do the autopsy, this man can't even, you know what I'm saying? He unrecognizable.
I mean, I think also, like, because of adrenaline plays a huge part.
Yeah. Sometimes people literally black out when they're
in danger.
Yeah, and they literally, like, and it's like not a sense of like they're passing out or whatever. Like, they're not in control of their actions. Like, something literally takes over them, and they're just like,
it's like a fight or flight.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess I could just see it from the severity of the crime and how far I went. But like, if somebody just, like, you know, did it and they were just doing literally in self-defense and it's proven to be self-defense, they shouldn't get no jail time at all. But if it's like on some stuff where it's like it's just taking a little too far, like, you had a chance to stop. Sometimes I feel like people can let their emotions and their, you know, their mind take over and they're not in control of anything like that. I get that, but eventually, like, you know what I'm saying, like,
you don't snap that.
Yeah. So I think, you know, so that's kind of how I feel about it. So let me explain the G-Dep situation. To make a long story short, G-Dep is a rapper from New York who, I believe at the age of 18, shot someone to rob them. And how the story played out, he basically was robbing them for money so he could basically get studio time, because, you know, studio time is not cheap. So long story short, he shot the man, right? But the man he shot was trying to fight him, like, you know, he fight or flight, right?
Yeah.
So basically G-Dep tried to get away, but his memory is that the guy was still alive when he saw him. The guy he shot eventually dies. Mind you, G-Dep doesn't know this. So he feels guilt, you know. He feels guilt about it. Mind you, this case went cold for 17 years. So the case goes cold. They don't find out who killed this man. But the guilt in G-Dub is building up because it's like, dang, I shot somebody. Like, it's not sitting well with me in my spirit. I feel like I should report this. It ate him up so bad. This man turned to substance abuse. It was mentally challenging. Like, he reported himself one time, and this is when he got older. He reported himself one time, but he was so high that the police did not believe him. His girlfriend or his baby mama at the time, or wife, whichever one it was, told him, it's been 17 years, and if they didn't catch you then, and if you went up there and reported yourself and they didn't arrest you right then and there, just call yourself lucky and let the situation go. But to him, he still feel that sense of guilt that's like, no, like, it's still not right. So he told himself, if I report myself one more time and I don't get convicted, I'm gonna let it go. He went back to the police station, reported himself, and the officers took him seriously. To speed it up a little bit more, G-Dub was charged with second degree to murder, not first, because it wasn't premeditated. And he got sentenced to 15 years in prison. Not 15 to life, just 15 years. After 15 years, he get out. But after so many years, he basically filed an appeal to get released early because he made it come out like, you know what, I've been guilty about it. I was apologetic about it. Like, I regret the decision that I made. I was very remorseful. He sent it off to the DA. The DA surprisingly agreed with his statement, and they passed it off to the governor at the time so they can write it off so he can get acquitted of the charges, so he can be released. They also reported to saying that G-Dub released the album in prison, or he was going to, and he was going to donate all the proceeds to the victims' families because of how he felt and whatever. Now, the problem is the family, once the family hears about all of this, they are like, no, we've been healed for so long. Why would you finally not come around to open these wounds up again? And they're writing letters saying, no, lock his ass the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't. No. It's it's like open, like I said, old wounds again and stuff like that. So but surprisingly, the governor at the time agreed with his appeal, and he actually only served 13 of the 15 years in prison. So he did get out, but I believe, like, to him, he's still remorseful. He regrets his decision. He'll never do it again. And ever since then, there hasn't been any updated information if he committed any more crimes since he got released or anything like that. So it pretty seemed like he turned his life around.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I got the topic of, do I think a reformed murderer, because he is a murderer. Do you think a reformed murderer, or we're gonna say a reformed murderer / criminal, should they be released from prison and let back out into society? So that's kind of where I got this from. But I also want to add something too. And if you need to say anything, just please feel free to say what you need. Yes, but I kind of want to take this a little bit deeper. Oh my gosh. Wow, fashion story. I don't even play that game anymore. Okay. But I want to take it a little bit deeper. I want to kind of flip it a little bit. Let's think about if, you know how we're saying we're a little gray in area, right? Mm-hmm. We said what we said. We expressed how we felt about it, right? Yeah. But I feel like it's always easier when we're on the outside looking in. Now let's switch it. This is us. We're related to the victims. Mm-hmm. Would you still keep that same energy? Because if somebody murders somebody that we're close with, right? No matter who it is, you're close with the person, and they kill them. Case goes cold for 17 years. The guy finally turns himself in, like I explained. Mm-hmm. Would you still keep that same energy of, no, I don't know. No. Like, I get it. He whatever. But no, keep that motherfucker locked up. Where you be like, you know what? Maybe he is remorseful about it. Maybe he should be left free back into the public. Because I feel like it's always easier to say it when we're not involved in a situation. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I kind of look at it from a point of view of us. Because I feel like my values would change. And that's just me being real. Because God forbid, if anybody was to hurt my siblings, my mom, or anybody that I'm close with, no, keep that motherfucker locked the fuck up. Even though I literally just said, no, anybody could change, anybody could this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's always different until it's your own. Yeah. So you answer that question, because I heard what you said. You said you were gray. But let's say if it was involving you, would you still be gray?
That I don't know. Because for me, I would want to see what the person actually did with themselves and actually did with their life. Mm-hmm. Before I can just be like, yeah, lock them up. Mm-hmm. And it's just me being honest to myself. Because I feel like a small part of me would be like, yeah, keep them up there, keep them in there forever. Mm-hmm. But another part of me will be like, you know, what was this person doing with their lives? Like, what was he doing? Mm-hmm. Because 15 years is a long time. And that's enough time to heal yourself. Right. And I wouldn't want to be buried in that anger. So I want to see what they did with themselves.
Would you believe that he said that he felt reformer without even being locked up?
I mean, I would say yes, if I'm being honest, because he turned himself in. Mm-hmm. He didn't have to do that. And it was said that he did this multiple times. Mm-hmm. So it's in some small part of me, I feel like, yeah, he is reformed. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll be hurt that he's free, mm-hmm. but he put in the effort. Okay. He probably ain't putting the time, but he put in the effort. Mm-hmm. And it did have consequences on him, his mental health, everything. So I'm gonna say yeah.
Okay, and I can respect that. I just wanted to kind of hear from a different point of view, like a different perspective of, let's say if you were related to this person, like was your values change? Because we can stand for something all day until it actually happens to you. You know how and this is completely off topic. It's just like how like when we see people coming out the closet. You know what I'm saying? They be like, oh, I love them. Like, we're not gonna treat nobody no different until it's your own. And then it's like, nah, hell nah, I'm not going for that. But you just said you was, and now that it's happening to you, you know what I'm saying? So I just kind of wanted to, kind of ask that kind of question. And I kind of like hearing both sides of the spectrum of, okay, I'm for it, or I'm against it when it's this, that, and the third. Okay, but when it's involving me, am I still going to believe these same values that I just said, or am I going to change them because it's involving me now? So that's kind of how I wanted to play on it or whatever. And if there's anything else you would like to add,
one thing I would like to add is, like, what would you do in that situation? Would you forgive them? Would you not forgive them?
I think forgiving is a process of its own, and I think it really just depends on the person how you want to forgive them. Like, it's nothing wrong with forgiving someone, right? But I think it's you need to just take as long as you need to, because I can't forgive somebody for killing my loved one. I can't forgive you overnight. But what I can do is work on it too, so I can forgive, because all it's gonna do is it's just gonna be deep rooted in you, and you're just gonna constantly think about it all day, every day, all the time. You know what I'm saying?
And on that's why I say it's like, it's been 15 years. I'm gonna find somewhere to work on that.
Yeah.
Inside myself, for real.
That was a good. Now that one was a good question about the forgiveness part. I didn't think about that, but yeah, that's something I would definitely have to work on, because, like I said, forgiveness is not easy depending on the person and depending on what happened. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
So, so I kind of understand that. But yeah, let us know what you think. Do you think a reformed prisoner should be released? Murderer should be released from prison? And if you do, why? Just answer that. But this is great talking to you and listening to what we have to say and understanding our opinions or whatever. Not saying that every murderer should be locked up forever. Some do need to be, what I'm saying. Hell, the whole judicial system is fucked up, especially for for blacks. Yeah. So, but yeah, this was a good one. I don't know what we're gonna talk about next.
We gonna find something.
It's something gonna come out. But yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, like everything, subscribe to everything, follow everything, drink some juice. We ate Chili's today.
Oh my God.
And you murdered that burger.
Bye.
Did you take anything to go?
No.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
But I hope you have a great night or a great morning whenever you're listening to it. If there is nothing else, I'm out this beach.
Bye.